Yeah, it just seemed like the stuff that we were learning in school was kind of this fake government
Hmm.
like thing that we had to know. And it always seemed like we got to the point where it seemed obvious, even in Keynesian economics, that there was something wrong, but then it just was like not discussed. So, for instance, there's like in microeconomics, if you look at Keynesian microeconomics, right, they have like the charts where there's supply and demand, and then there's the tax, and then there's like the little triangle of dead weight loss. And it's just like, oh yeah, that's just kind of how it is. Like there's just this thing called dead weight loss and whatever. But they never were like, and that's bad.
Hmm.
They were like, it just exists and there's nothing we can do about it. And so like when you read this stuff, you're like, okay, I mean, like obviously like we could jump to a conclusion here that like something here is off, but that conclusion was never jumped to. And so it made me interested in seeing if there was anything like anyone out there writing about the fact that that was off. And so, like, I started Googling, and it took me a really, really long time to actually get where I needed to go because I didn't know about Austrian economics. It wasn't
Hmm.
like, oh, here, you can learn about these Keynesian people or you can learn about these Austrian people.
Yeah.
It was like, this is economics. And
Yep.
so, yeah, so it took me a while to find it. But once I did, then it was like, okay, I found all of them. It was like, oh, I know this one now, and I found this one. And like, oh, and this guy wrote like some novels that are interesting that are like anti
Hmm.
government and pro Austrian economics. And so I started reading Garrett, and like, I just got like really immersed in it. And I definitely spent more time doing that than my schoolwork. So I think my GPA could have been a little higher.
Well, you were like actually learning, which is harder than just taking in the course load, I'm sure. So,
Yeah, for sure. And it's something that we stand by today, both my husband and I. It's that we don't let school get in the way of our education, and we certainly
mm.
aren't going to let school get in the way of our kids' education.